June 3, 1998. The Intercity Express glides through the calm morning air of Lower Saxony at a smooth 200 kilometers per hour. Inside Coach 1, passenger Jörg Dittmann sits with his wife and young son. The cabin is quiet. Passengers drink coffee and watch the fields blur past, settled into the routine of an ordinary Wednesday journey. At the time, this train represents the pinnacle of German railway engineering. It is designed to deliver speed and luxury within an environment of absolute technical mastery. But beneath the floorboards of the passenger cars, a mechanical failure has already begun. Modern disasters rarely start with smoke and chaos. They often begin in the environments where we feel the most protected. In 1992, the railway introduced a rubber-sprung wheel design. By inserting a ring of rubber to absorb vibrations, they aimed to make the ride as smooth as possible for the passengers. However, each high-speed revolution forces the train's immense weight against the rail, slightly flattening the outer steel tire. This repetitive flexing creates fatigue. Over thousands of miles, microscopic cracks form on the tire's interior rim. Because they grow inside, they remain invisible to standard inspections. Warning signs were present. Weeks before this journey, a maintenance report flagged a cracked tire on another ICE train. But because the wear met by prioritizing rigid policy over proactive investigation, the system remained unaware of a machine that was slowly failing from the inside out. Just before 11 in the morning, 6 kilometers south of Eschede, the steel tire on the third axle finally snaps. It peels away from the wheel body and, in a fraction of a second, punches upward through the floor of Coach 1. The jagged metal rips through an armrest directly between Dittmann's wife and Fun. Dittmann leaves his family and sprints toward the next carriage, finding the conductor and reporting the debris immediately. At this moment, the danger has been identified and reported. The train manager is alerted, and the immediate solution is to pull the emergency brake. The survival of the 287 people on board now rests on how the crew chooses to react to that information. The train manager follows the established company protocol. The rules require him to visually verify the damage himself before he is authorized to stop the train. While the manager walks back to Coach 1 to investigate, the train continues forward at 200 kilometers per hour. Beneath the floor, the dragging tire catches a track switch. The immense force rips the wheels from the track and sends the first carriage into a violent derailment. The derailed train strikes the concrete piers of a road bridge. The impact causes the bridge to collapse directly onto the passenger cars, while the rear locomotive drives the remaining wreckage into the rubble. By adhering to the standard investigation procedure, the crew lost the window of time needed to prevent the collision with the bridge. A mountain of shattered metal and concrete rubble is all that remains of the train. Rescue workers soon found themselves fighting the train's own engineering. The rigid aluminum frames and pressure-resistant windows, built to protect passengers during the journey, now acted as an impenetrable barrier that resisted extraction tools for hours. 101 people were killed. 88 others were left with severe injuries. Investigators later concluded that the wheel design had never been tested for the long-term stresses of real-world operation. The inquiry identified a failure in the emergency protocols. The staff followed the company's written procedures to the letter, but those rules were not designed to handle a sudden mechanical breach of the cabin at high speed. Jörg Dittmann survived. He identified the danger, reported it immediately, and trusted that the system was prepared to respond. He took the correct instinctual actions, but the authority figures on the train were bound by a set of rules that prioritized verification over immediate safety. Investigators could never determine the exact length of the delay, the window of time where the brake could have been applied before the wheel hit the switch. Because the front locomotive was destroyed and its occupants killed, the precise timeline of the manager's decision remains a mystery. Dittmann's story serves as a reminder that safety systems are only as effective as the protocols that govern the people operating them.